Welcome back to the channel. Today we got Trump signals support for baby bonuses to convince women have children. Which, from hearing that title, convincing people to, procreate. I don't see nothing wrong with that, right? So we're gonna get into it. With that being said, we're smoking all my dragons, divine, righteous, almighty, great, overachieving, never slacking. Original link in the description. And here we go.
We've talked a lot about Project 2025 on this show. It lays out a conservative blueprint for the second Trump administration, and some of it is now reality, like getting rid of large numbers of civil servants and dismantling federal agencies. But Project 2025's main priority, restoring traditional families. And the New York Times reports the White House is now assessing ways to convince American women to have more children, including a $5,000 baby bonus and federally funded menstrual cycle classes. David Graham joins me.
I'm gonna stop it right there. That's a problem? Like, it would just depend on. It would depend on if there was, how like when they say don't sign a deal with the devil, for example, right? It would depend on what's extra behind that. You might agree to do something, and then it might be a little more than what you expect. Okay, so I could see something like, for example, okay, we'll do this, or we'll sign something, or have more babies, and then next thing you know, it's like, all right, well, Elon Musk, because you agreed to this, now you gotta. If it's something like that, then yeah, all right, okay. But as far as just supporting people to have more kids and to produce, and talking about, having classes to help them with their cycles, like I don't see the problem with that. If it's genuine, I don't see the problem with that. Like, that's really what humans are supposed to do in all reality.
Including a $5,000 baby bonus and federally funded menstrual cycle classes. David Graham joins me now. He is a writer for The Atlantic and author of The Project, How Project 2025 is Reshaping America. It is just out today. Can we start with this? When they say they want to restore the natural family as the foundation of society, what does that actually mean? Because I look at this White House, and you got the White House press secretary. She went on maternity leave for one day. The chief of staff, Susie Wiles, is clearly a woman. Lara Trump was former head of the RNC. She's now got a Fox News show and a budding music career. You got power women all over this White House. So what exactly are they talking about when they say restoring traditional American families?
I think you're right. There's a real gap between what they talk about and what they actually live out. But, they say they want to have fathers who are the main breadwinners with single income that can support a family. They want mothers.
Stop it right there. That's the issue. It's one thing to say something, and it's one thing to do something. It's one thing to talk the talk, and it's one thing to walk the walk. So a lot of stuff will sound sweet and it'll sound righteous, but is there something behind it? Does it take a weird twist or turn? And who's really in control? And is this really part of something? That's when it gets tricky and weird, right? Seriously, because I've seen a couple things in the past where it's like, for example, people were all told, go get back in 2020, go get, and then you start to hear all these weird things. You get what I'm saying? Things might sound like it might be medicine. It might sound like it be healing. And then you find out something odd, and you're like, whoa, glad I didn't do that.
They want to have fathers who are the main breadwinners with single income that can support a family. They want mothers at home taking care of children. They want to, have bonuses for for family members to provide childcare in the home. And we can guess who that might be. It's going to be mothers. It's going to be grandmothers, of course. And they want people to conform to gender roles. They want boys and girls. They don't want, anybody who identifies as LGBT. And they want everything to be based in a kind of biblical vision.
Donald Trump has repeatedly denied any ties to Project 2025. But if you look at the last 93 days, how close is his agenda to what's in the playbook?
It has been almost step for step. You can draw a straight line from what we see in these chapters to the executive orders, to the kind of things they're pursuing, civil servants, obviously. And really, those denials were always nonsense. The people who put this together served in the first Trump administration. They serve in this administration. They worked on his platform committee for the 2024 campaign. It was hogwash.
Then given that, when people say, oh, Elon Musk is the shadow president, do they have it all wrong when it comes to a shadow?
That's what I'm talking about right there. It's just weird, bruh. Like, it's been weird. And a lot of people want to turn their heads and act like, no, it's been weird. Everything's been bizarre. And we all agree on that. Everything, it don't matter which blue, red, everything just been bizarre. Can we agree on that? Can we?
President, is it Russell Vought, right? He's now head of the OMB, has huge power in the administration, and he's one of the main architects of Project 2025.
That's right. And he lays out in the plan exactly how to use the executive branch. He thought very closely about how, for example, OMB could become not so much a managerial center, but a place that forces the agencies to do exactly what the president wants. And what the president wants seems to be exactly what Project 2025 wants.
But all these people, these architects of Project 2025, I want to go back to this gap you were talking about. What do their lives look like? Because when I think about traditional American families, Donald Trump has been married 3 times. Elon Musk has 13 children, and as of last week, he's marketing for open potential wombs to procreate more. So who are these people specifically? Because the kind of traditional families you're talking about don't seem to be the way they live their own lives.
Some of the folks who wrote these chapters do, and what they've discovered is that Donald Trump is a really good vessel. They, I think, understand that he is not a particularly serious person to do this, but that he can achieve what they want. And so they've grafted their goals onto his so that they can get the vision of the family that they want implemented.
But many of the people...
Okay, let's talk about the people for a second. I see something that's been trending on TikTok with Generation X talking about how their baby boomer parents, a lot of them were narcissistic, controlling, and just super judgmental, which led to so much people rebelling. I even do believe that a lot of people started to experiment and be, with different things that would be considered taboo or sinful, because subconsciously they just wanted to piss their parents off. So I don't believe that for one second. This perfect family structure, this perfect America, great America. I don't believe that would work, because I believe too many people would just rebel against it. And there's too many people that remember how judgmental a lot of their parents were. When you look at the baby boomer generation, and this is not to demonize anyone, but a lot of them, from people that I personally talked to, it was like, they may have wanted to do something else in their life, but their parents were like, no, you're going to do this, and you're going to get married at this age, and you're going to, even as far as, setting marriages up, and they were taught to never disagree with that. Like, it's like, this is how you're going to live your life. And a lot of Generation X was rebelling against that, pushing forward. So it's like, I don't believe it would, I believe just too many people would just rebel against that, right? I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I believe the only thing perfect is imperfections. We can sit here and act like it's been Alfred Wives, or what's that movie called? Was it Alfred Wives? Alfred Wives or something? Or Stepford Wives, that's it, yeah. We can act like it's the Stepford Wives out here if we want, like it was. But in all reality, nah. It was just, I think it's just this, I think the great America people are seeking, as far as family structure and, things just being great. I do think there's some delusion there. I do. Even when sometimes when we look at, for example, we could look at times right now that we may miss. And if we were to have to relive it, it might not have been as good as we think. So our mind can trick us sometimes like that, and can create a little bit of delusion. And, I believe a lot of people are riding under that delusion. It's like, just take care of yours, right? If you're happy, then be happy, and just learn how to respect other people and keep your hands out of there. Simple. Keep your hands out of what doesn't suit you, and protect the babies, and protect each other. I think war should be waged when there's crimes against humanity, but when people are just living their life how they're living, I just don't think you could just You can create. It becomes step for that step. Watch that movie, Stepford Wives. It becomes like that. Like we're not robots.
People who voted for Donald Trump voted for him because he was a business guy and they did it for the economy. Do baby bonuses and federally funded menstrual classes, could this hurt Donald Trump politically? Because I would guess that the core base who supports those ideas are not the overwhelming majority of Americans and even the majority of people who voted for Trump.
I think that's right. I mean, they talk about this as a vision of liberty, but it's not a vision of liberty that I think most Americans associate with. And it doesn't feel like freedom to them. It feels like a step backwards and putting people back into boxes they were in the 1950s.
So what is the end?
That's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about. But when it comes to helping people, like people that want to produce life, when it comes to helping them to be able to, be financially free in a sense and making things easier, and they want to have kids and they want to, like, I'm all with that. When it comes to helping people with their cycles, and I'm all with that as long as it's genuine. I'm all with that. I have nothing against producing life. I have nothing against procreation. I have not, as long as it's genuine. If it's not genuine, if it's some weird stuff going on, and all of a sudden it's starting to feel like the show Black Mirror, and signed up for something you ain't know you were signing up for, then yeah, I'm against that completely.
End game for the authors of Project 2025? Because when I say I look at Republican lawmakers, and over the last 93 days, do they feel like they're winning? And for many of them, the answer is no. But I'm guessing for the Project 2025 crew, they feel like they're winning.
That's right. They want to move things as far as they can, as quickly as they can. And they know they're going to get stopped after 100 days or after 2 years when they get to the midterms. But they're playing a very long game. They just want to move the ball forward. And they are looking, decades into the future at a federal government that will be much more restrained and focused around their goals. When Trump is gone, they're still going to be around.
So, yeah. Okay, so I know a lot of people may feel like, they may feel like I don't, like, when you don't, I'll put it like this, it's easy to manipulate people, all right? Very easy. Right now, I could go to the so-called Black community and, just feed off of their pain, right? I could go to the so-called white community and, you guys are right, and, a lot of people are just, play victim. I could do that. People do it all the time. A lot of people are pimps, and when you're somebody who doesn't do that, people tend to look at you as, I guess, fake, or they don't trust you because they can't put you in a box. They can't put you in a group, and I choose to not do that. I choose to just give my opinion how I see it, and sometimes it may sound like it aligns with a certain group, or and the next day maybe it might sound like it aligns with, but I'm just going off of what I think is right. I don't align with none of this. I'm not with none of it. To be honest with you, I just think people deserve to be free. That's why I stand on it. With that being said, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Original link in the description. If you enjoyed this, definitely don't hesitate to hit that like, that subscribe, that notification bell, and I'll be back with more soon. Much love.